The Super Bowl is here. After a long and tumultuous season of amazing football, horrible officiating, and questionable social media posts, we have arrived at the exciting conclusion. The 49ers, the most talented team of all of football, is facing the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift's boyfriend. It's going to be a good game. Anyone predicting a blowout, a one-sided affair, does not understand how the Super Bowl works. This game will go back and forth. It will be competitive. It will be one of the games of the year. And how will it end? I'm glad you asked, because Tristan and I are going to tell you today. And for the first time in Thicc Man Inc. history, I am confident there is a difference of opinion on how the Super Bowl will go. We have both been right the past 3 times. We've both picked the same team the last 3 times. So something changes this year. Which is why I'm going with the 49ers. Because I know Tristan refuses to pick them. Their defense, more talented, better. Their offense, far better balance. Their offensive line, if the Chiefs are dealing with the injuries which they are allegedly dealing with, if that is going to affect their lineup, the 49ers offensive line is better, and they've got the best left tackle in the past decade. Their skill players, better. Ayuk is better than Rice. Debo is better than any other wide receiver on that team. Kittle is better than Kelsey. Their running situation, Isaiah Pacheco's great, CMC's better. It all comes down to the quarterback. And I think Brock Purdy can perform in these situations. I think he is going to cement himself as a top 10, maybe top 5 quarterback, hoist the Lombardi Trophy in his second year, and win Super Bowl MVP. He is going to have a great game. He's going to put up numbers on that Chiefs defense, which Josh Allen and Lamar simply were not able to. He is going to solidify himself as one of the NFL's premier marketable superstars of this game and lead the San Francisco 49ers to their first victory since 1994.
You're wrong, Isaiah, but more importantly than you being wrong is using code Thicc on Underdog Fantasy. Double your deposit up to $100. They'll have pick'em specials going this weekend for the Super Bowl. You use our code, supports our channel, and gives you a little extra money to use on Underdog Fantasy. Now, one point I think everyone can agree on, 49ers fans, people who hate the 49ers fans, me and Isaiah, this is the 49ers' best chance to win the Super Bowl. You just named a whole lot of reasons why they're really good, and that is true. They have an incredible roster, loaded with talent, a quarterback that's playing at a top 10 level, making the 66th most money a quarterback is making in the entire NFL. You don't get that opportunity every season with the roster that they have surrounding Brock Purdy. So it's the 49ers' best chance. It's just not going to happen. I am not willing to bet against the Chiefs. At the beginning of the playoffs, I said it felt like the Chiefs, with the emergence of Rashee Rice, playoff Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes, that offense kind of turning things around, that they were poised for another deep Super Bowl run, adding a third to their resume in the last 6 seasons, third in the last 5 years, however many, 4 Super Bowl appearances in the last 5 years, third Super Bowl. I said it from the beginning of the playoffs. Wrongly 2 weeks ago, I doubted that, and I thought the Ravens were good enough to take them down. And the 49ers, I don't think they're that team to take the Chiefs down. You compare both rosters, you said the 49ers, clearly the better team. Clearly, they have a quarterback that can compete with Mahomes. The only thing
I didn't say they had a quarterback who could compete with Mahomes. I said they had a team which compete with Mahomes. Purdy's going to have a good game, but it's going to be because of the team around him in large part. That is why it's going to be competitive. The quarterback's not the thing doing the competing, but a nuanced point, I'm sure.
Very nuanced. I mean, I just spoke to how good the 49ers quarterback situation is. The only way it could get better is if they had a Patrick Mahomes on their team with that roster.
And we're $85 billion over the salary cap. They repo their stadium because they can't afford to pay it. Yeah, that'd be a better situation, Tristan. Good thing they don't play the Super Bowl at home. To win a Super Bowl? Good thing they don't play the Super Bowl at home. I think an NFL owner would take still having his franchise over a Super Bowl trophy. That's just my personal opinion, but
you clearly don't want to win that bad. But
yeah, man, I don't own an NFL team.
You spoke to comparing the offenses. I think the offenses are very comparable because you have Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco and that offensive line are playing at a high level. With Rashee Rice and how Travis Kelsey has looked in the playoffs, offense is not going to be an issue for the Chiefs. Much in the same way, the 49ers offense, I think, is going to produce and have successful drives here and there. The difference in this game is going to be the 49ers defense and the Chiefs defense. Chiefs defense, as good as the 49ers defense is, it is not the Chiefs defense. You take a look at how the Chiefs defense has been playing throughout the playoffs, held the Dolphins to 7 points.
To be fair, Arrowhead's negative 30-degree wind chill held the Dolphins to 7 points.
Held the Bills to 24, where their season average was over 26 points a game.
Should have been 27, but shout out to Tyler Bass.
Whatever you want to, whatever copium you want to take there. And then last week against the Ravens, who during the regular season were scoring 28 points a game, held them to 10 points. They were one of the most electric offenses, and the Chiefs defense in a big moment against good teams, they continuously show up. So the difference in this game, Brock Purdy doesn't have the experience of being in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, it's his 4th time. Andy Reid, it's his 4th time going there. And I think Brock Purdy is going to make one mistake like he did against the Lions last week, and the Chiefs have the experience at head coach. They know how to play with the lead, unlike the Lions did, and they're not going to relinquish it. They're going to keep the lead like they've done all season when they get out to a lead, and they're going to win the game.
The Super Bowl atmosphere may be the most overrated thing in all of sports. Those tickets cost $4,000 to $60,000 a pop. Actual fans are not going there and turning up and making a lot of noise. You are getting trust fund kids who say, oh wow, we get to go to the Super Bowl this year. It's going to be a quiet crowd. It is going to be a moment which Brock Purdy, down by 24 points at the half to the Lions, is more than able to handle. Brock Purdy, if you can say a lot of things about him, you cannot deny the fact he is clutch. You cannot deny his best throws have either come when he's down late or when he's orchestrating a comeback during the playoffs. He has looked fantastic when pressure is on him. If anything, the pressure of the Super Bowl, that is going to benefit Brock Purdy more than anything else. Coming out with that pressure out of the gate is going to greatly aid his performance. Also, you talk about, the Chiefs' offense was clicking. Chiefs' offense scored 17 points against the Ravens' defense. Really, should have been less, but Lamar spotted them the ball a few too many times.
First of all, it's the Super Bowl, so you're playing in the biggest game of your career. It doesn't... it's going to be loud regardless. It's the Super Bowl. There's 80,000 people there. However many people are able to fit in the Las Vegas Stadium. Don't know that number off the top of my head. But the fact it's the end of the season, it's the biggest moment for any organization in the NFL. It's the biggest championship in the United States.
Correction. The biggest moment for a certain NFL franchise up in Cleveland is the NFL honors. And that franchise up in Pittsburgh. They care a lot about that, as we've learned over the past week.
A certain award.
A certain Defensive Player of the Year award. The Browns kind of got over-gifted. I've derailed your train of thought completely, but...
You mentioned Brock Purdy being able to play from behind, but you take a look at how their 2 playoff games have gone. You're playing an inexperienced Packers team that jumped out to an early lead. You don't exactly trust that team to hold that lead against a 49ers team that has much more veteran talent, and they've been in the playoffs before in those big moments. Then you play the Lions. We know the Lions haven't been to a conference championship game before in that moment. We know Dan Campbell hasn't been there before coaching in those big moments, staying with a lead late in the game. The Chiefs, they're a different animal. If Brock Purdy throws an interception early in the game and the Chiefs get out to a 2-touchdown lead, I don't think they're going to relinquish that, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think it's going to be a close game, but they're not playing the Lions. They're not playing the Packers. This is the Chiefs, who have been to 4 Super Bowls in 5 seasons.
The Chiefs who lost to the Lions? I also want to talk a little bit about what the Chiefs are going to do offensively. People are talking about, hammer the over on Travis Kelce. He's only supposed to have 74 receiving yards. He's clearly going to go for over 100. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the combination of Travaris Ward and Fred Warner is enough to keep Travis Kelce not quiet by any means, but is going to keep him under control. Like, if the Chiefs win this game and rely on an offensive performance from an individual, it's going to be from Rashee Rice, it's going to be from Isaiah Pacheco, it's going to be from Clyde Edwards-Helaire even.
Don't forget about playoff MVS.
Playoff MVS, how could I don't think Kadarius Toney's even going to be on the field, so I hear per sources that he, in fact, was attacked by a coyote this week, so... We must keep him on the injury report. I think Kelce being limited is going to prove to be a big factor in this. You talk about, playoff Travis Kelce. Playoff Travis Kelce has had about 3 good catches, which have been carrying his playoff resume. Really, it's defensive shortcomings which have let that man cook. I think he's going to have a quiet game.
He's had over 70 yards in 2 games,
Again,
and last week had 11 catches and over 100.
He had a few good catches against Cal Hamilton. I will give him that, not taking that away from him. But I don't think he's been that good. I went back, watched all his snaps. He's not been Travis Kelce. He's certainly not Gronk, but I really cannot see the Chiefs absolutely boat racing and capitalizing, just holding on to a lead. I think if it comes down to it, the 49ers will be able to chip away at anything they can build up, just because they can attack you any which way offensively.
with the Chiefs defense, L'Jarius Sneed playing at a high level, Chris Jones playing at a high level, the Chiefs defense had the number 2 scoring defense in the NFL during the regular season. I'm really just belaboring a point. I mentioned how good they've been in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown an interception in for 5 weeks now.
So he's due.
No, I'm just saying he's playing extremely efficient. He's not due. There's no such thing. He's playing at a very efficient level.
Men
not
lie,
turning the
women
ball
lie,
over.
numbers don't lie. He's due.
Brock Purdy, you know, he's had a tendency for some unfortunate mistakes in this playoff run.
The most unfortunate mistake he made was trying to throw through a Philadelphia defensive lineman's arm last year in the NFC Championship game. Other than that, he's been fine. Look, you're a 49ers hater. I do not begrudge you of that. I understand why. Like you, who has been verbally thrashed, shredded, humiliated, cuckolded even by the 49ers faithful on social media, I get it. Like, I accept this prediction. But at the end of the day, the better team's going to win. And people are going to talk about the head coaches, because talking about head coaches is a sign that everything else has been talked about. You say, oh, Andy Reid's got more playoff experience. Andy Reid's actually gotten done. Well, Andy Reid at one point in his career was known as a playoff choker who couldn't manage the clock. At some point, some things have to give. All-time great coaches are going to find a way to win championships.
You're saying he's due.
Exactly, he's due. It's been too long since he choked. Both he is due and Kyle Shanahan is due. Cal's getting his first ring. Big Red's going to have a big choke. And maybe he hired someone to take care of clock management for him. That could be a salary cap thing. But I think the 49ers are going to win. You think the Chiefs are going to win. I think we both agree this game is going to go from like upper 20s to maybe low 40s scoring, right? It's not.
Are we giving a score prediction?
I'll throw one out there. I'm going to say 34-28.
So you think it's high scoring?
Yes, it's going to be high scoring.
I think it's going to be 27-24.
1
or
field
20
goal margin.
or it's going to be somewhere in that. It's going to be somewhere from the 21 to 27 range.
Here's the gambling advice. Use code Thicc on Underdog2Cs, not a gambling website, daily fantasy side. Disclaimer. The over is going to hit. They're going to score more points than expected and bet for the 49ers to cover. That's my advice.
That has been our predictions for the Super Bowl. Let us know who you think is winning down in the comments below. Use code Thicc on Underdog Fantasy. They'll have some specials going this weekend for pick'em entries. It doubles your deposit up to $100, and we will see you in our next video, probably reacting to the Super Bowl.